Oh, he missed it right. Whatever Vikings affiliate that was right there on the call for a game-winning field goal against the Arizona Cardinals. He missed it right. It was like 30-something yards. It was nothing. This is interesting to see your daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, gambling, fantasy football, etc., etc. Week whatever of college football. What? Week 3 of college football, week 2 of NFL pro football in the books. The moratorium on football is running out. October is rapidly approaching. Got a lot to talk about today, but we're going to begin not with Penn State and Auburn in the game of the year and not with Kansas City and Baltimore in the game of the year. Excuse me. Yeah, this is not a studio production. We are going to start with the officials. And now I hate how often the officials become a talking point. And there are missed calls, and some teams get screwed and other teams don't get screwed. And sometimes there are bad calls and sometimes there are bad rules. We're going to touch on all of that because they're narratives you're going to need to be prepared for. There's one thing I'm actually mad about. There are a couple other things that are just the way it is and that are annoying. But the thing I'm actually mad about is what we're going to start with. And it starts in college football, and it starts with the Southeastern Conference officiating. First, in the Penn State game and in the Mississippi State game. So Penn State hosted Auburn. Mississippi State was on the road at Memphis. Those are 4 teams that were undefeated heading into Saturday. The only thing that makes me mad is simple, stupid procedural stuff. That kind of crap annoys me. If you make a bad call, you make a bad call. I mean, refs are not perfect. Review has weird loopholes, whatever. We'll start in the Penn State game. It was only one thing, but it was a big thing. It's like, I don't even know what to say about this. So what happened was Penn State was ruled for intentional grounding on first down, which is a loss of down scenario, which on most penalties, it's not a loss of down. If there's a penalty, you could have the option to either accept the results of the play on which your opponent cheated, or you can accept the penalty and then get to try again. You get to replay the down, except on intentional grounding when both happen. The down counts, it actually happened, and intentional grounding is penalized. Intentional grounding is like, everyone thinks about it as like this complicated rule. It's not. It's just a sack. It's just they're saying like, it was actually a sack. You tried to throw it away, you were sacked. Penn State had intentional grounding. Whoever from the SEC, because the way it works is the conference that is traveling to their opponent brings their refs with them. It's a good way to sort of, temper down cheating when people were super suspicious of ulterior motives. And I think it's the best way to do it because everybody just accepts the way that it goes. The SEC and the Big Ten are widely considered the best officiating crews in college football. The Pac-12 is considered the worst. Penn State punted on what was third down. And they asked replay to review to make sure what down it was. And they're like, yeah, it's fourth down. No, it wasn't. And they went back up there, and Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler, who can count to 4, were like, they punted on third down. That's incredibly embarrassing. And then in the Mississippi State game, what I saw was the stupidest play I've ever seen. So Memphis is punting. Mississippi State's trying to down the ball. They're trying to down the ball inside the 5-yard line. One guy knocks it from the 1 back inside the 5 or the 10 or somewhere around there. Great punt coverage by Mississippi State. They're down by 7. A dude very gently puts his hand on the top of the ball and starts walking away. And the official, the umpire actually, is the back judge. He's waving his hands over the air as if to say stop. In middle of doing that, there's no whistle yet, so this is the fun part. He's doing that. He's got his foot down. He's got the bag on the thing. He's like, this is change it down. A Memphis guy just picks up the ball and starts running. We're like, well, so a guy touched it inside the 2, and then a dude put it down, and the official's like about to blow it dead, and the Memphis guy just picks it up, and they're like, well, I guess the play's still going on. The play is still happening. So one official was attempting to blow the play dead and spot the ball after it was downed. That is A, not reviewable, and B, he was blowing it down. Procedural stuff to me is the most ridiculous mistake that a ref can make. Like, your job, spot the ball, blow the whistle. If you make a bad call, you make a bad call. We assume you're all nincompoops. That's fine. Arguing about calls, whatever. People get screwed all the time. You shouldn't get screwed because you can't count to 4 or you don't know if a play is over. Also on the play, this is just the cherry on top for Mississippi State, who did end up losing. They go down by 14, made a valiant comeback effort that eventually fell short, but they got really close to coming back. They were screwed. On that play, the punt play, there were 2 number 4s on the field, which is illegal, and I can't believe that's not reviewable. It'd be a super simple review. Like, hey, look, there's a number 4, there's a number 4. College has so many players that there are often duplicate numbers. Memphis put 2 number 4s in the play. Same time. Other officiating notes for water cooler talk today. There were 2 in the grasp calls, which means that if a quarterback's getting sacked, the refs will freak out and blow it dead right away because they don't want the quarterback to get hurt and stuff. Because if the quarterback gets hurt and stuff, then the team will suck and stuff and no one will want to watch, which is true. I complain about it in the grasp, but I'm also like, nah, I'm not going to watch if Justin Herbert's not playing. Sorry. Justin Herbert got called for in the grasp as he was attempting to throw it away. It doesn't matter to me because he didn't get it back to the line of scrimmage. It should have been grounding. The Russell Wilson one is bad. If you saw that in overtime against the Titans, Russell Wilson is doing the Russell Wilson thing where he just like kind of runs backwards infinitely like in a video game, and he gets called for in the grasp at the 1 yard line, which is annoying because he then grounded the ball like a third of a second later from the end zone, which would have been a walk-off safety. Should have been a safety. So if you commit a foul in the end zone, it is a safety. In the grasp calls were a problem. Review was a problem. There was a play in the field ruled a touchdown by Julio Jones. They ruled it a touchdown. His heel seemed like it was very close to the white line, but it didn't. No definitive evidence. They decided to overturn the call, despite statistically they're staying with the call in the field in the NFL at a clip twice the rate of other ones. So officiating is going to be the talk today, so be prepared for that. All right, let's get into some fun actual football stuff. Let's start with the game of the year in college football, bringing up some highlights here, and you will excuse me. Shut up, YouTube TV. Jesus, God. I'm going to be able to tell my children about a day in the past before YouTube had advertisements. So I had this clip all ready to go. Just watch it. Just watch it. Unbelievable. They have this 4K camera, the whiteout at Penn State. Every school does cool stuff from a television standpoint and an atmosphere standpoint of like actual cheering for football. Unbelievable. It happens every year. It's been, I don't know, it seems like it's been happening forever, but it hasn't. It's happened about 15, 20 times, something like that. It was the game of the year. Let's go to, I had the clip already pulled up. Oh my God, YouTube, you have become incredibly annoying. Let's do it. All right, we're skipping. All right, stay with me. It's Monday morning for all of us. Yeah, so it was the game of the year, and I knew it was going to be the game of the year because it's 2 teams that match up perfectly. And it's not just this year that they match up all the time. Like, look, as we review that, look at that. The offensive line, defensive line, like Auburn won the trenches, Penn State won the war of attrition on the outside. There was good coaching, there was good play calls, there was appropriate amount of risk taken. It was incredible. Auburn, in my opinion, consistently has one of the best defenses in college football. They're just really buttoned up. Penn State plays really sound football. Sometimes James Franklin gets a little bit ahead of himself, but for the most part, it was an incredible game. 28-20 Penn State wins. It's one of those games, here's a take from me, it's one of those games that you really enjoy college football because the result is going to impact Penn State more than it's going to impact Auburn, and that was always true. If Penn State lost, it was always going to impact them more because Auburn, to be frank with you, Bo Nix is good, but he's not good enough to beat Alabama. There are a couple quarterbacks in the SEC that are good enough to beat Alabama. He's not one of them. And as a result of that, it doesn't really matter for them. Just conference pride, just Auburn pride. They went up there, they went toe-to-toe. And when you do that and you're a non-conference opponent, we remember that from Notre Dame and Georgia. I mean, Notre Dame lost by like a possession on the road in a crazy atmosphere, and that's an important part of it. But it does look like Penn State is probably the best team in the Big Ten right now. Ohio State looks soft, so it matters to them. But in a vacuum, you'll always be able to remember this game, the people that were involved. It will be, for me, the game of the year. Conference games are never the game of the year because it's close. Like, this is the best conference in college football. I don't care. Non-conference opponents like that are classic programs. Auburn hadn't played against a team on the road who is now in the Big Ten in 90 years. So, I mean, it's a historic event. The last time that happened, like, we had just won World War II. Wait, had we? I'm doing my math. No, we hadn't. Hitler wasn't even in power. Is that my math right? 90 years since they played in a Big Ten state. Crazy. Can't believe they did it back then, actually. The tensions are higher then or now. Who knows? All right, let's move to Professional football, we got to talk about some stuff. That opening clip from the Minnesota Vikings, what a great game that was between the Cardinals and the Vikings. Not for those of us that had the Cardinals minus 3.5. Cardinals end up hanging on to win 34-33 after they couldn't punch it in. They go up 34-33 by kicking a field goal. Minnesota, led by Kirk Cousins and Adam Thielen, they had a great drive. They set up like a 38-yard field goal. And that is tradition. In Minnesota Vikings football, they missed an easy kick. God, it happened against Seattle in the playoffs. It happened in the NFC Championship in 99. Or was it 98? I don't know or care. Oh, huge boo-boo from a guy named Joseph. I don't know. Man, this is the first time I actually felt bad for a kicker because he's a pro and he's just grabbing his face mask like, well, I'm probably not employed anymore. Game of the year in the NFL last night, Chiefs at Ravens. Chiefs had a big lead. Ravens scored 12 unanswered in the fourth quarter. Lamar Jackson cannot throw the ball when he needs to, but he can run the ball. So as long as they don't abandon the run, they're going to be pretty good. 12-point comeback by the Ravens. They win it by a score of 35-36. There are only a handful of undefeated teams left in pro football. Just like everybody drew it up, the two of the undefeated teams are in the AFC West. In the AFC, that would be your Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. In the NFC, see if I can do this off the top of my head, Rams, Cardinals, Niners, and the Panthers. That's right. Saw this interesting tweet from Jacksonville. Let's move to Jacksonville where things are a mess. Trevor Lawrence looked much better. They did look bad. They put up a much better fight against Denver. And then they're starting to get dramatic because Herb still thinks he's in college. This is what they posted on Twitter. I'm going to bring it up for you guys just because it is hilarious. See, that is so dramatic. Look how dramatic that is. They're standing on there. It's like fading to black. They're arm in arm on the sideline. The coaches, it's the national anthem picture, and then it like fades to black at the top with the Jaguars logo in white print. And then here's the message. Hang in there with us. We're going to get better. And then the quote from Urban Meyer. The one thing about Jacksonville and the 904, go to sleep knowing there's not going to be any group working harder to get this thing flipped. Dude, you're 0-2 in your first year. No one cares. What? We're going to get this thing flipped. Like, well, maybe if you work hard, you can still get a good recruiting class. Buddy. Rookie quarterbacks had a rough day yesterday, all except Mac Jones. Zach Wilson, 3 for 7, 45 yards, 3 interceptions. That's right. Bill Belichick, his team caught as many passes as the Jets did against Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson does look incredibly talented. It looks good, but rough. Mac Jones did okay. Completed 17 of 20 for 142 at the same time. It looks like whatever. Trey Lance did not get in the game against the Eagles, and Justin Fields did get in the game against the Bears because Andy Dalton conveniently had an injury. He did have an injury. It looks like they were worried about like an ACL or perhaps a meniscus or something, some sort of strain. And Justin Fields gets in the game. He looked like he wasn't ready. He threw a really stupid pick to my boy from Wyoming. Logan Wilson got a pick inside the red zone. The Bengals mounted a valiant comeback effort. Justin Fields, I don't know. Bengals defense is not great. He did not look great. He sure can scramble. That definitely looked good. Monday Night Football coming up tonight. The Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. I certainly hope all of the beat writers and people who cover the NFL all over the world are clearly rooting for the Lions because if the Packers, after getting destroyed by the Saints, lose to the Lions at home on Monday Night Football, we'll have all day Tuesday to talk about it, and it will be rock bottom. The Aaron Rodgers memes have been incredible with his man bun and his saggy face. He looks not healthy in that press conference, and it was honestly hysterical. I don't think that's what's going to happen. He's been very good in his career about like sniffing out a lost cause and then just like pouting enough to get pulled in the fourth quarter so he doesn't get hurt. And to be frank with you, as annoying as that is, that's the right thing to do. Like, who cares? This game's lost. Why try? Let's just get all the people that are important out of here. I think that is always the way to go, in my opinion. So from a gambling standpoint, the first week underdogs hit, overs hit. Second week, unders. I had a couple unders. I lost a lot of money in the Eagles game because Nick Sirianni doesn't understand how to draw up a passing play. That is neither here nor there. Let's just talk about the first-year head coaches. So off the top of my head, David Culley's 0-2, or he's 1-1, excuse me. He got the win against Jacksonville, but that doesn't count. Everybody just respects the Texans for trying. He did one of the most stupid and cowardly things I've ever seen a head coach do. And I say cowardly from a football standpoint, not as in he didn't run into a burning building as a firefighter. So this is what happened. Here are the facts. And Benjamin Solak on Twitter did a really good job of this. It's 3rd and 15. The Texans pass for 13 yards. So they pass from their 40 to their opponent's 47. Right? 4th and 2 from their opponent's 47. They get 15 yards. They're in their opponent's territory. They're down. Or, excuse me, the game is tied. There is on the play an offsides. So it's a free play. So your choices are either A, to try again on 3rd and 10 after a 5-yard penalty, or B, accept the 4th and 2. I would suppose that if you accepted the 4th and 2, you would do that to go for it. No, that's not what happened. David Culley, in his infinite wisdom, chose to let the down count. So it's 4th and 2 from their opponent's 47. They're heading towards the end zone, and then they punted it anyway. So he didn't want the do-over. He just wanted the game to be over. He didn't want to try. He wanted to quit. They're trying to run out the clock. Big effort from the Houston Texans. Underdogs had a huge effort yesterday. Raiders go on the road and beat the Steelers. They're undefeated. Derek Carr looks great. Matthew Stafford threw like 80% good throws, 10% acceptable throws, and 10% what the hell are you doing throws. The Rams, though, are well coached, so they escaped. Carson Wentz got hurt again, but he didn't look to be that hurt, so we'll have a fun time guessing about whether or not he's actually hurt. God, I love him. He's so entertaining. Big underdog tonight. The Lions are favored, or excuse me, the Packers are favored to win by about 12 points or more. Panthers, they mashed the Saints. Huge underdogs mashed the Saints. The Saints have not been in a competitive game yet this year, which is super fascinating. That's it. Interesting to see. Back and better than ever tomorrow. I'm wearing my Lions shirt. I'm an actual Lions fan. It is what it is. Like, rate, review, subscribe, etc., etc. I'll see you tomorrow.